Prime Minister Ahmet Davutoğlu has claimed that there are coup-like plots to cause political unrest and pave the way for a coalition government after the June 7 general election. In puzzling remarks, the Prime Minister also argued that two opposition parties' decision to field a joint candidate in the presidential election in August 2014 was an effort to create Turkey's el-Sisi, referring to Egypt's president, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, who came to power after ousting Mohammed Morsi in a coup. I do not see the possibility of a coalition in Turkey's future, but there is such a plan, there is such a manipulation happening, Davutoğlu said in a late-night interview on Tuesday aired on the pro-government ATV and Haber TV stations. This means, there might be those who are willing to pursue attempts, not coup attempts but coup-like ones, to create the sort of coalition they prefer, like what happened on March 12 and February 28, he said, referring to dates in 1971 and 1997 when the Turkish military forced the incumbent governments to resign without actually carrying out a coup. The Prime Minister then added that the government will take all kinds of measures against such provocations, without elaborating on the nature of either the provocations or the promised measures. Davutoğlu's remarks came amid survey results showing a decline in public support for the ruling Justice and Development Party, AK Party, prompting speculation that the June 7 election could lead, for the first time since 2002, to a coalition government. This would also depend on whether the pro-Kurdish People's Democratic Party, HDP, is able to enter parliament by passing the 10% election threshold. A strong AK party majority is expected to result in constitutional amendments to change the current parliamentary system of governance into the presidential system coveted by President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, a co-founder of the AK party. Davutoğlu predicted that the HDP was unlikely to pass the threshold. The HDP, which has vowed to prevent Erdoğan from assuming strong executive powers under a presidential system, has alleged that the AK party has set up a team to rig the election results. Davutoğlu rejected the allegation as despicable slander and described it as part of coup-like attempts to cast a shadow on Turkey's democracy and stir up tension and panic. We are confident that we will win this election. Why should we resort to something like that, he said. According to the Prime Minister, the nomination of Ekmel Dinsinolu as a joint candidate for president by the Republican People's Party, CHP, and the Nationalist Movement Party, MHP, was also an attempt to change the status of Turkey, in which the AK party is the main player, through manipulative methods. The coalition debate of today is the same thing. It has the mindset of a transition period. They have tried it in different ways. They see that it failed and now try to see if a transition period, a coalition is possible, whether the AK party could be weakened. They want to create a fragile Turkey. A fragile political structure. This is what will damage us the most, Davutoğlu said. The Prime Minister also continued with his criticism of the Doğan Media Group, whose flagship newspaper Hürriyet was targeted by Erdoğan and Davutoğlu over the coverage of the death sentence handed down to Morsi in Egypt. Imagine a media organization publishes a letter addressing the president, addressing me. An attempt on their part to design our policies, he said. There is no politics being governed by the media anymore. Media should give the news, should criticize, but should not attempt to rule, he said. Hürriyet published an editorial on Wednesday addressed to Erdoğan after the president claimed a headline about the death sentence for Morsi on Hürriyet's website suggested that he could also share Morsi's fate. Hürriyet dismissed the accusation and asked if the president was trying to intimidate the paper. Erdoğan links election with Gezi, corruption probe. Davutoğlu's remarks prompted discussion on social media, where critics said the government is preparing to portray a possible loss of the vote or people voting for opposition parties as a coup. The Prime Minister, however, was not alone in seeing coup plots in the run-up to the June 7 election. In a speech earlier on Wednesday, President Erdoğan addressed unspecified plotters, saying, "You are very wrong if you think you will achieve on June 7 what you could not achieve in Gezi, what you failed to pull off on December 17-25. The president, accused by the opposition of blatantly campaigning for the AK party in violation of the constitution, was referring to the Gezi Park protests of the summer of 2013 and a massive corruption probe that implicated people in his inner circle. Erdogan and AK party leaders have described both events as coup attempts against AK party rule.